Hello guys, it's Boris. Let's implement the software as service from the last video. It will be a web service. So I want to be sure if you know the structure of implementing such application. So we have three layers: repository, service layer, and web layer. Okay, here is the client, some other service application or anything else that can make requests to us. So here in the service we will have our function implemented. Okay, the repository is used to read and write data from a data source. Okay, actually this will be a database: Redis, Postgre, MariaDB, and so on. It communicates with the service layer and vice versa, and the service layer communicates with the web service layer and vice versa. So here we will implement the controllers, endpoints, and we will expose one endpoint, calculate calculate ah, okay okay. So when the client service calls us with a request, they will send payload here, for example 5. Okay, we'll take this input, it will go to the service layer, and we will call this function. It will calculate it, the result will be 25. The service layer will bring the output to the controller, and the controller will make a response to our service client with the payload 25. Okay, and if we had here a DB Redis or some other database like PostgreSQL and so on, we can tell, hey, we can write a logic here and tell, hey, if I see 5 again, return 25, and this 25 will be residing here. For 5 we will map 25. Okay, for really big numbers like for example this number, we can tell the result is something. Okay, and they call us with this input. We will not lose time for calculating this time and resources, because resources are expensive from the cloud, for example, and not only on-premise, on cloud, they are expensive. And we see this input, and directly we will respond from here to the service, to the web, and with the response we will give back the result again. There can be many services, many clients, and this client maybe give us this input, but this client maybe want the same input here to send it, and we will get the advantage of hashing here, hashing in the database, and not calculating everything again. This actually will be one if else here, and one if else block. If we have this in the database, return it. If not, calculate it. It will be so easy. So uh, here the structure of the application is important. And okay, let's go. Uh, so let's define the packages service for the service layer, controller for the web layer. It can be web also, not bad naming. Repository. We will not have one for now, but just for clarity. We will need data. In the data, we need subpackage, DTO, data transfer object. We will need entities. When we fetch something from the database, we got it in an entity. What I mean here is a little bit of theory, sorry, but if you're a beginner, you should know this, okay? So last, I promise. Now we have a data source here, okay, some DB, and we fetch the data from the database. Imagine we have some rows here. These entities here, for example, have 100 fields. Okay, in the Java entity class, because this will be deserialized in a class in Java, this row right here, and we will have 100 fields, right? And this is in the repository layer. When we came from to the service layer, we will create a DTO, data transfer object, okay? And for example, we need 5 fields from this 100. For example, we do some calculations here in our business logic, but when we came to the web layer and we sent a response to someone, we'll use the DTO with the 5 fields, not the 100 fields, because even we can want to don't expose everything to the other service, okay? We want to pass these 5 fields to this service, not all of them. This can be used also for internal calls. And this is it for the DTO and the entities. So for now, we will need DTO, yeah. I'll create it for now. Stay here. Input DTO. Okay, it will have number, power. Okay, JSON property, JSON property. Okay, we have one DTO. Now let's create the service. The fun part starts. Calculation service. For the beginners, by default, the methods in an interface are public abstract by default. The public, private, and default are called, we don't write default. If this doesn't exist, it's default access modifier. We call this access modifier. Okay. And the abstract keyword is to define a method abstract or a class abstract, so it's keyword. So when we define a method, we start with the X modifier. But here, by default, the methods are public abstract in our interface. Okay, we have a method calculate. See the ID tells us they're not mandatory. So we delete it. Calculate. The return time will be big decimal. Okay, we will accept the input the number for now. Only the number. Okay. Big decimal is class in Java from the Java math package, like you see here. It's used for very precise calculations like banking transfers and so on. So the best practice is to use the big decimal here for doing calculations. So let's implement this method. We create another class, calculation service, implementation. Okay, implements. Implement the interface here. Implement the methods. In this case, it is one method. Okay, and what we want is we get math poll method from the math class in Java. Poll is static method. So now this will done the job. Okay. It will rise this input to the power of 2, right? But this number 2, this is not good practice. This is not clean code. So we must define a constant because these two, we cannot say what is doing here. We can say by reading poll method, but yeah, it's not a good practice. It's called a magic number if we call it this way, okay? So we define a constant power of 2. Sorry, it should be integer, for example, power of 2, and we passed here. But yes, the poll method wants double as input, and this is the problem. Now it's solved. Here, double. Okay, we're fine. Double. And we return this result. Now I can do it in one line, but we must return big decimal. Sorry. When we call static methods, we use the class name. For example, big decimal. Use the dot operator. For the newcomers, the dot is not just a dot, it's an operator actually, and it's called the dot operator. We write the class name and we call the method. Here is the value of double, the result. Now this will return, this will return big decimal again. So we are fine to return from here. This is okay. Now this service class, so we will annotate it with service annotation coming from Spring Framework stereotype service. Um, for the annotation, we have component here for this annotation. So it will be picked up by the component scan from this component scan here when we run the application. It will be registered in the IOC container, in version of control container. But these are Spring deep water, so for now let's keep it simple. So we have the service layer implemented. Okay, we have the logic for calculation. Now we need the web service layer. Okay, the web layer. Let's create calculation controller. The suffix is controller service. It's okay for naming. Like see here is service, here is controller, the suffixes. Okay, I made a typo. I'll fix it. Now we are good. Now we use the annotation REST controller to denote this controller, and this annotation right here serialize and deserialize objects for us out of the box. What this means? This means if JSON payload is coming like this, okay, this is coming from the request. This annotation here, request body, this annotation will automatically deserialize this into a Java class. Imagine class, some name, input, some Java class, which have one field, X, okay, and this will be deserialized in this class automatically because of this annotation responsible. The vice versa is called serialization. If we have a class, we can serialize the data into JSON, into XML, into file, and so on. So this annotation works that way. Now we need request mapping. Let's say API v1. This is versioning. I will tell you later why we do this. Okay. And we must inject now our service here. The first way is by field injection, this way. But if we Google constructor injection, see, it is from the Spring team, Spring docs. Here it is. Constructor injection is better than field injection. Okay, so the constructor injection is like follows. We remove this annotation, we put this annotation here, we make this final, this should final, okay. This constructor dependency injection right now, and now we make a method post here. Method post, we want to return here, for example, double. We take double. We want to return double, but calculate returns big decimal. Okay, double value. Okay, this should return a double value, but for debugging purposes, I will extract the value here. In just a second. Okay. Okay. This is good. So our web layer is ready. We need to say here calculate. Now we must decide how we gonna pass the x parameter here. What do you think? Query parameter, path variable, request body with payload. So let's try the path variable. Okay. We do it this way. Number. Okay. In the path. Then annotation. Path variable from web bind annotation from Spring. Okay. We map it here with number. Okay. Just a second. I forgot this. We map the number from here to here to here. Okay. It will came with the path. Now I will run the application in debug mode to test it. We are ready. Okay. Now we put it in the path, so let's take 2. Okay, you see number 2 here. Number 2. Now matplotlib will make it 4. We return 4. And we return double value in the response. Okay. And voila. Here is the result. Right? Okay. So this is the first way of doing it with the path variable. Let's copy paste this and comment this out. Now we want a query parameter. Okay. We use here request param. And we remove this from the path. Okay, let's try it out. Ugh. Okay. Now restart the server. Now If we go to params, you see number equals 5. Okay, this is a query parameter. And during the endpoint, the input is 5. Okay. And the result is 25. Okay. We return the result 25. We can see it's working. We can change the number here, but let's not be in debug mode anymore. Okay, 100. Okay, 10 by power of 2, it's 100. Okay, now we can do something different. I have created a DTO, right? Input DTO. We will use this. We will return double for now. But see the suggestion. Request body. Request body. We will take the input DTO number and power. Okay, but we must refactor the service here. The interface also. Here the input must be okay, we can overload it actually. Input DTO. So let's implement it. Okay. So here the logic will be matpol input DTO. Oops, sorry. Okay, let's use one block here, data. By providing data annotation, we are saying we want constructor, we want getter and setters, and I think this is, yes, getter and setters. Okay, so get number, get power. Okay, matpol. But what is the problem here? The problem is those are strings, so let's make them doubles. Okay, matpol gives us a result. Yeah, small. Okay, so in the calculate method now we pass this DTO, this payload. Okay, and we will make calculations here. Let's see how this will work. Okay, return double value. Okay, but we cannot extract this result for debugging purposes again. So let's take one breakpoint here and let's run the application. Okay, so there were error in the event Because of that I will make a restart. Okay, so now we don't want this parameter. The path is calculator. Calculate. Okay, you see now the server will live reload after a second. Come on. We are done. No need to stop and start. Now the path is calculate API v1, calculate, okay, and now we have a body in JSON format, okay, and what we were having, number and power, okay, we pass number, for example, 5, and power, for example, 2, okay, this is our payload. We hit the endpoint, and you can see the input DTO have number 5 and power 2. So when we move forward and do the calculation, the result is 25, okay? But now you can see we remove the constant from the function. We can say we want to raise 2 to the power of 15, okay? We send the request, the result is big number. So by doing this, what we achieved here is the result. We moved from we have this for input and hard-coded constant power of 2. Now we have input x and power y, which is variable and x is variable. We have the number and the power, and those are the ways we can pass parameters in the path itself. For example, this way 5, for example, the field and the value query parameter, and with the request body in JSON format. Our return type for now is simple, it's double, but we can change this. We can change it. We return a simple value here, but let's try result DTO. Okay, and let's have let's try it. Because we should create this. Okay, again this annotation create constructor for us out of the box. But there is a problem because we must change this in the interface of the service and in the service. And okay, let's define it this way. Public, I'll remove this. We want double. And we will provide double. Okay. So let's run the application. Okay. Where is the problem? My bad. In the controller, we should use result DTO here. Okay. We will return this straight away. One liner. Okay. We run the application again. Okay. You again execute it. Now you can see the result is the same because number 2 is raised to the power of 15. Okay. And what we got up. This is JSON now with one field. Okay. And if we want more information, we can do this trick here. It's not trick, it's just implementation. Private level power. It can be, we can compose the other object here, the input object also, but for now let's keep it this way. Let's use this time the annotation. Now remove this constructor. We have constructor with all these three fields when we use this annotation, and with data annotation we have the getters and setters. This is done by Lombok dependency, and now we have the input, right? And what we expect now, result power number. Okay. So input DTO power number. Okay, we expect doubles. The input DTO here doubles. Why? Wow, create constructor. Strange, really. Okay. I'll create a constructor then. Result power number. One block isn't working. Okay, now I will design it to run an application. Well, some errors. But the errors were because we are editing while live revolving is running. Now I expect here to have my input also in the calculation. Here I give those as input and I get this result. So one step further will be in the result DTO. compose to use composition and take the input DTO here. Okay. Uh, okay, this way. Yeah, really problems, I know. We must left with this. Oh, now we wait for the live reload on the server. I expect nested object right now in the response. Okay, see here, input DTO. And the cool thing is here is that, see, um, we can change this by number power. Okay, data. We can change this, but let's try JSON root name. I don't know it is the right annotation really, but it will be cool. Okay, it's not. I expected to change this, but never mind. I can change it by refactor this, but there were a way you can name it without refactor your class. Now it's just picking the name from the class, and this is the thing. But I will rename it. Never mind. This is not good practice because in our logic it is DTO actually, right? And yeah, see how many places I should refactor it from the file structure. But never mind. We'll fix it. We'll fix it the hard way. So last problem is here. Big refactoring for something so easy. Okay. Let's see. Let's run it again. What? Wait. Okay. Oh, I'm so tired. Okay. The name we can set the name here like blah blah. Okay. Oof. I'm waiting for the live reward. Yeah, that was so. Now I will do like this and put video. I'm a bit tired and yeah, never mind. We achieved what we want, right? Now we have the DTO naming and blah blah, but I can, I want this to be input details and this to be result, for example. Now let's live revolving. And now it's more readable. Okay, we have a result and the input details for the result. Now this is a nested object of this object. What this code composition? Here it is. So this is the serialized data. This is the deserialized data. Okay. So I think we are done for now. What we have achieved here is we have implemented, if you remember, on this part we had a SaaS which provides us a very good function here with um, calculating this thing. We have implemented this web service. In the next series, we will implement the other part. So, thank you for your attention, and we will see us again.